everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, June 21st, 2026. Welcome to Patty Williams Week on Y&R. 2 whole episodes dedicated to yet another kidnapping. Oh, I know this is driving some of you nuts. Wow. I don't know. I'm on for the ride. Wherever it goes, I'm on for the ride. So, Diane is being held against her will by a man who may or may not be Martin Laurent with a new face. Oh, we will peel back the layers on that onion. But later. First, let me just see if I got this straight. Okay, after coming back from Fairmont Crest, Patty paid a doctor, a psychiatrist, this Laurence Markum, to convince Diane that she had had a complete mental breakdown. Because according to Laurence Markum, Diane was found in her car just screaming by the side of the road. Just total nervous breakdown, possibly a result of the tornado. Completely inconsolable. And again, according to this guy, Jack hired him to treat Diane privately. So instead of sending her to a professional clinic with a professional team, Jack said, just take her to your house. You know, the one with the bars on the windows and the dogs patrolling the property 24/7. Sounds legit to me. That's the story. Okay, that's Laurence Markum's story, and he is sticking to it. But what probably happened was Diane got back from Fairmont Crest and Patty drugged her and is now like paying this guy to keep her there and trying to gaslight Diane to try to make her think she's going crazy so that Patty can make the moves on Jack. Oh, that is diabolical. Delightfully diabolical. Oh, I know it's ridiculous. I know it's impossible. I agree that it's very samey. But the moment when Patty sat down next to Jack in that little nook off to the side at the mansion, and she was trying to convince him that Diane isn't coming back, or at least isn't coming back as the same woman. And then when Jack wasn't looking, she turned their wedding picture upside down on the table. I mean, that was worth it for me. I got a good laugh out of that little moment. And also a lot of little moments. I mean, her hanging on him, the look on his face, just tolerating it because he thinks he has to. Her lying down on the couch, Diane's Italian velvet couch with her feet kicked up on it. I mean, I'm thinking it's a little fun. I'm allowing myself to go with it. Patty is pawing all over Jack every chance she gets. This is her moment. And she is seizing it. She even thinks that she has convinced him to kick his family out of the house so that they can be more alone together. It is ridiculous. He's giving her everything that she wants. He's completely giving into it because he knows or believes that that's the best way that he can possibly buy time for Diane while he figures out what to do. And I don't know. I think it's fun to watch. Probably all because the acting is so good. The story's ridiculous, but the acting is good, and that's it's kind of soap. The story is always a little ridiculous, but if the acting is good, it pulls you in. My only two real complaints about this are that it took up 2 whole episodes of the show, and I have to say, I like variety. I really strongly, no matter how good a story is, I don't like seeing only one story. I like seeing 3 or 4 stories at a time that are interwoven. And we did not get that. It was a little exhausting. Like Monday and Tuesday's show were all Patty. And then by Wednesday, we started getting the variety back, and it was a good thing because I was getting some exhaustion. But the other thing is, I think we all got the sense that something happened with the timeline here that did not add up between Genoa City and Fairmont Crest and the big Beyond the Gates crossover. So I kind of feel like a lot of this just got crammed into those 2 episodes so that we could catch up, so that everything could get back on some kind of schedule. But aside from that, I don't know. I like it. I feel like Patty is a very even mix of hilarious and haunting. She is both devilish and delightful. And I don't know, the way she was talking to Jack, telling him this lie, this clear lie about Diane, the whole I found her and I'm helping her get the best treatment. And then in the very next breath, she is implying to him that if he doesn't go along with it, then Diane is dog food. That's the level. It's like she both believes it, but also is completely aware of what she is doing. That's entertaining to watch. And then Diane. Okay, I thought that the way the doctor specifically was gaslighting her was very effective. very haunting because he was getting her to agree to little things, reasonable things like eating or a change of clothes or just accepting some toiletries, all very normal. And I imagine that probably is how you gaslight somebody or kidnap somebody. You probably do try to gain their trust through little things, little kindnesses, and then gradually convince them of the bigger lie. I find that terrifying. I feel terrified for Diane. This guy is scary. And just like Patty, he's telling this version of the story, and then in the next breath, he's saying, well, if you don't comply, then there are other methods that I could use. So it's like this mix of, I believe what I'm saying, but I also have a sinister, I understand the sinisterness of what's going on, of what I'm actually doing. Sinister is a great word. I feel like there is a deeper psychological horror going on with Diane that's really effective. Like, does this guy have a DIY lobotomy kit in that key card room? Diane has got to get her hands on that key card. That's the new goal. She got her hands on the phone this week, but she was not able to effectively use it. She had her hands on a letter opener too, and I was cheering her on to just go ahead and stab him. Just stab this psycho and get it over with, be done with it all. But, I mean, you can't just go around stabbing people. He created enough doubt that she said, well, I can't just stab him because, what if it is true? What if I did have a breakdown and I just don't remember? Or what if there is some kind of logical explanation to all this? Well, then you stab him and now you're a murderer. Now you've got more problems, bigger problems. So it's all very scary. And I can tell you one thing for sure. Jack and Diane are going to be big time reunited over all of this. In fact, I feel like this was all supposed to take place before the Beyond the Gates tornado, and that's why they were so close on that show. I feel like Y&R must have put Jack and Diane and Patty's story on the back burner, and now they're just catching up, because I guarantee you there will be no more Diane blaming Jack for sleeping with Patty after this, because Diane is now going to have firsthand experience of what it's like to be drugged and manipulated by Patty. But to what extent is this all Patty? Because I know you Y&R chatters out there took note when Dr. Laurence Markum bumped directly into Tracy at the the Chancellor Park Cafe. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? Laurence Markum, Martin Laurent. I mean, could they be the same person? Let me get my little detective notebook out here, make my little notes, flip. Well, the last time we saw Martin, he was in prison. But who's to say that Martin didn't break out, get plastic surgery, and become this new guy? Or, and this is even more sinister, is that just what Y&R wants us to think? I've gone so far around the bend of skepticism that I'm all the way back at thinking this is a red herring. I mean, we saw all the books in the bookshelf. Dr. Laurence Markum's entire medical library consists of books by Alan Laurent, the dead good twin. So, is that all just a clever tie-in? Or a red herring? Or a clue? Matt is gonna ask Phyllis out on a date? How bold of him. I don't know. I love Matt. I love the new and improved Matt. I love the I'm not that person anymore Matt. But I feel like Phyllis is gonna need to man him up a little. Because he is just still coming off like a 13-year-old fangirl to me. Like, everything about him is so, I don't know, I'm not very confident, who am I don't know. It's just, and then the Cane fawning. I mean, I love new Matt as the inverse of villain mode, but to take him seriously as a romantic lead for my Phyllis, I don't know, I'm gonna need a little less wine and a little more sex appeal. I feel confident that Roger Howarth can pull that off. We need to pull back. We've gone all the way from villain to teen girl, and now we need to pull back and just add a sprinkle, a dash of sex appeal. That's all I'm asking. But I understand also that Matt has got to do what Matt has got to do right now. He feels indebted to Victor Newman. And, you know, not everybody got off the hook from that whole mess with a free company like Phyllis did. Matt is still having to earn his trust. He's in the midst of a Victor Newman loyalty test. Matt asked Cane out on a date this week for coffee, like how dudes do. Right? Though, right? I mean, dudes call up other dudes and be like, let's go out for coffee at Crimson Lights, right? I mean, right? But Matt gave Cane, this whole story about how he used to work for Adam's mom, my beloved Hope, on the farm in Kansas. He was a horseman, a man of the horses, which makes sense to me. I am sold. I will take it. But it's also like a whole story that Victor gave to him. Victor is the one who handed him a bag of cash and a backstory this week and told him to go make friends. And Matt is telling Cane that he is so impressed with him and the whole Aristotle Dumas story because Cane is someone who earned what he had. It wasn't just given to him. But basically, Matt is pumping Cane's ego, which is exactly the right move. And Phyllis walked up into the middle of the whole thing, and she sort of plays along, but sort of doesn't. She doesn't bust Matt. She doesn't warn Cane, but she also did say enough to make Cane suspicious, or maybe just her presence alone was enough to make Cane suspicious. But it doesn't matter. Cane is going to hire Matt anyway. The seed is already there. Cane is going to hire Matt probably next week. And if for nothing else, then just to keep him close, keep your enemies close. It's way too much of a coincidence that Matt is connected to the Newmans, staying with the Newmans, and he already knows Phyllis. No way. Lily gave Cane the keys to his office at Chancellor this week, and she gave him a kiss. Lily is full in. Fully in. No doubts, no judgments, just kisses and coffee, and soon it will be sex. And I'm okay with that. I really am. I think it's refreshing to have a couple to just sink into, I feel like Lily and Cane just have chemistry. They don't really even need some kind of complicated, dramatic plot. You could just plop them into a scene together and turn it on and go. But I do think they will have a challenge. I think they're going to have a couple of challenges, actually. Number one is Phyllis. Phyllis is the new owner of Arabesque, and she really enjoyed rubbing that fact in Cane's face this week. And it did seem to bother him, even if minorly, that the company he built with his father was just given away. And I think the conversation with Matt kind of reinforced that too, because Matt also played the, oh, you built this company with your father angle. Part of his horseman story was that he cared for his father in his final days, so he's creating that connection, and I think that might fire that connection even more in Cane's brain, that wait a minute, why is Phyllis running the company that I built with my father? And worse, probably Cane is thinking, well, wait a minute, maybe there was some value there that I didn't realize, because Cane wrote the whole company off as absolutely worthless, and now Phyllis has it, and she's kind of acting like there's something there. But also, Phyllis is probably going to use the company to come after Cane because she feels rejected, right? Cane chose Lily over her. And I think that's all the reason Phyllis really needs. I think Phyllis is going to team up with Matt, go after Cane, and probably also unwittingly become Victor's tool. She's going to end up doing his bidding, whether she means to or not. I can't stop thinking that Victor gave her that company for some reason. He knew exactly what she was going to do with it. That's what I think. I think he knew she was going to go after Cane, and he was counting on it. But the other challenge that Cane is going to have to face very soon, I think, is Billy. Jill is coming back next week. Lauren Koslow is going to be taking that role for 5 episodes. And if Y&R is bothering to recast the role of Jill, then that tells me Jill is going to be playing some kind of critical role here. I think she's going to have some news or an opinion or something big, or they wouldn't have bothered. Billy is currently unemployed, and he's just like not doing much. He's twiddling his thumbs. He's assisting Jack. He's assuring Sally that, you know, his focus is going to be on her and the baby. But realistically, how long is Billy going to be content to just sit on the sidelines? I think that Jill is going to insist that Cane hire Billy at Chancellor. She's probably going to pull the "I almost died and it would bring me great pleasure to see my 2 sons working side by side" card. And I think Billy would take that job. I think Billy would take that job, and he would happily start battling Cane for control. I mean, look, Billy will always want what he can't have. And he will always want what's just out of reach. And currently, that's 2 things: Chancellor and Mom's approval, right? Jill's going to come back, and we're going to see that dynamic firsthand. Jill treats Cane better than she treats Billy. Jill treats Cane like a son, even though he is not her son. Even though Cane came to town pretending to be her son. Her dead son, in fact. Philip Chancellor III. And that is our retro recap topic of the week. How is Cane Jill's son? Well, he isn't. He straight up isn't. Cane is an Australian bartender who came to Genoa City pretending to be a wealthy heir. And somehow, Jill forgave him, welcomed him into her family. Catherine welcomed him into her family too, and put him in charge of Chancellor Industries. And then there's Lily. Lily forgave him of his lies and welcomed him into her heart, built a whole life with him. You have got to rehear this story, folks. How Cane came to town, how and why he was pretending to be Philip Chancellor III. And not only that, but he has Australian mafia connections, Australian cattle rustler connections. He has an evil twin. I mean, hey, Matt, you think Aristotle Dumas is impressive? You don't even know the half of it. Oh. YRChat.com is where you can get the full Cane imposter story. Perfect timing for this upcoming week because Jill is on her way back, and I predict that Jill's 2 sons are about to go to war. Adam and Chelsea have decided to resurrect Newman Media. That's an interesting piece of the puzzle, don't you think? How, though? How are they going to do it? Okay, just to recap, because I can't keep track of all this. When Phyllis took over Newman Enterprises, she immediately sold Newman Enterprises off to Billy. And then Billy folded it in to Abbott Communications, which then became Spectra Charles. So everything that was Newman Media is now Spectra Charles. It's just crazy because, like, we have gone so far from the original that it's hard to believe Adam and Chelsea would see any path to getting it back. And yet, starting Newman Media over just from scratch seems too undramatic. It seems not juicy and not conflict laden at all. So are Adam and Chelsea going to go after Spectra Charles? Legally or otherwise, and try to get that company back? I mean, that seems very possible to me, especially given the hatred between Billy and Adam that was resurrected last week when they talked about Delia's stuff. But Billy doesn't have anything to do with Spectra Charles currently. Audra and Sally are in charge of that. So if Adam and Chelsea are going after Spectra Charles to get Newman Media back, what that really means is that Adam and Chelsea are going after Sally. And Adam loves Sally. Adam will always love Sally. And Sally is pregnant. Adam would not want to hurt Sally while she's pregnant, right? He would not want to destroy the life, the baby, the wedding, the connection that she has to Billy. Right? Audra is not acting very smart for a woman who has a massive secret and really needs to keep it for her own safety. Audra has got 2 women coming after her now. Not 1 anymore. 2. Claire and Sienna would both love to take her down. And honestly, Sienna seems like she might be the one who is picking up the most steam right now. I could see Sienna tearing Audra down. And also, Audra is not actively coming after Claire. And she's kind of got Holden's protection. But Audra is actively coming after Noah. And Sienna can see that. So Sienna has every reason in the world to want to take Audra down and drive her out of town. I wonder if Sienna and Claire might actually team up, like maybe start putting things together from different corners and then start comparing notes. Although I don't know. Maybe Claire's just going to bow out of it. Maybe Claire's going to be too busy dealing with family drama because Victoria has now told Claire that her grandmother isn't doing well. And also given her some insight into Nikki's troubled history. I really feel for Victoria and felt for Victoria this week because the situation with Nikki is getting worse. It's not just headaches anymore. She's had the headaches for a couple of weeks, but now she's getting blurred vision and she seems very close to fainting, passing out, losing consciousness a couple of times. And, for Victoria, it's very hard to watch a loved one who is willing to suffer but not willing to do anything about it. I mean, isn't Victoria dating a former doctor? You would think, at the very least, that Victoria might ask Nate to stop by and talk to Nikki. I just feel like this is more evidence that Nate and Victoria aren't a real couple, Although you can pretty much bet that like 2 weeks from now, both Nate and Stephanie will be all up in Nikki's medical condition, trying to help her figure out the cure. When we already know the one thing that can really cure Nikki will end up being a romantic reunion with Victor. One big ping pong ball. Who said that this week, my friends? One big ping pong ball. If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com and find out if you're right. Hey, birthday shout out to Tina B. Tina B's birthday is June 26th. I hope you have a big, beautiful day, Tina B. Let me take a look at last week's poll question, because I asked you guys if you're rooting still for a Victor and Nikki reunion. 63% are still holding on. Still holding out hope. The Nictor fans are still alive, still out there, still rooting for the reunion. 38% saying nope. Been there, done that, not interested in doing it again. Marianne V says, I think Victor and Nikki belong together, but he needs to be nicer to her and accept her friendship with Jack. Yeah, I mean, that's the key, right? That's the key problem between them right now. Her friendship with Jack. I don't know. I mean, I can see both sides of it. I can see where he would be like, hey, this makes me uncomfortable. Why must you continue this? And I can see her being like, I can be friends with whoever I want to. So it's kind of an impasse. I don't know if they will resolve it. What am I talking about? Of course they will. Tony says, so Victor is so fixated on Nikki's friendship with Jack. Well, Victor maintains a friendship with former wife Ashley. I would like to see Ashley come into town and confront Victor to defend Jack. She can remind him that Nikki and Jack have a similar friendship that she and Victor have. Save the day, Ashley. Oh, that is interesting because, I mean, truly, in Genoa City, if you are not allowed to be friends with your ex, then literally no one can be friends. Everyone has either dated each other or married each other at some point. So ruling out friendship after having dated would really limit the friendship pool permanently. Ooh, Tina Cole says, Allie, you called it from the very start. Victoria and Kyle is on. They had another interaction, but it wasn't hostile anymore. I am already anticipating Claire finding out about them. Ooh, okay, Tina Cole. Yes, I noticed it, but I was not really prepared to go full in. But now that you mention it, didn't Victoria kind of ask Claire if she was still involved with Kyle? I do believe that Victoria inquired as to the status on Friday of Claire's and Kyle's relationship and then encouraged Claire to be dating around. And now that I think back, now that I put that scenario next to the fact that, yes, Victoria and Kyle had another run-in, but not only that, it was not hostile this time. It was much softer. You should see the photo caption that I got of Kyle. Go to irchat.com. You might have to scroll to the second page, but I got this very, international man of mystery Kyle holding his whiskey glass, clearly posing. I got a great screen cap of it. And it did come off as very look at me, I am not, I think Kyle's maybe in that moment we're supposed to see Kyle presented not as son-in-law material, not even as son material, but as a man of his own. And, this is really what needed to happen all along if Victoria can't be reunited with Billy. I love a Newman and an Abbott being together. And if it didn't work out with Claire, I feel like this is the next best thing. I'm all for Victoria and Kyle. I think it would be super hot. Victoria needs a new man. Kyle is a little listless right now. It would definitely stick it to Victor. I think it's fabulous. I think it's got a lot of potential. And yeah, it does almost seem, now that you mention it, like we've gone from hostile to friendly, and we just edged there. Just a little nudgy new. And especially with Victoria learning that Claire is officially over Kyle. Yep, there you go. There you go. Ooh, how about this? Robin says, does anyone remember Victoria and Cane having a sex romp on a couch? Didn't that break up Australian Cane and Lily? Well, it's natural that Lily doesn't like Victoria. Ooh, Robin, let me add to that. I'm almost certain this is positive. This is positively true. Okay, so yes, Victoria and Cane hooked up. And not only that, I know this from my Lily and Cane retro recap. When Lily went to prison over everything that over Hillary's death, while Lily was in prison, Victoria and Cane hooked up. Cane was still married to Lily, still committed to Lily, but Lily was pushing him away. Cane had this moment of weakness. I think Victoria and Cane hooked up. Billy found out about it somehow. I don't know if he saw them or just overheard them talking about it, but Billy found out, went to the prison to let Lily know that her husband had sex with Victoria. And that's what caused Lily and Cane's divorce, the last divorce. Lily learned that information, saw it as the end of the marriage, and served Cane with divorce papers. So yeah, Lily has more than one reason to dislike Victoria. It's not just business, it's also personal. But that hasn't been mentioned yet on screen. I wonder if it will be. Kamna says, am I the only one with this unpopular stance? I find Cane and Lily to be so boring that I fast forward through their scenes. Way more sparks with Cane and Phyllis. A Cane-Phyllis Matt triangle could be fun. Woo, Kamna, I love unpopular stances. So you feel no chemistry between Lily and Cane. That's great because, I mean, I don't think I've heard anybody say they weren't feeling it. So that's interesting. You'd rather see Cane with Phyllis. I just feel like Phyllis got so darn desperate with Cane that just ruined the balance of power in their relationship. It just didn't take off for me. They absolutely had sexual chemistry the couple of times that they did hook up, but it just felt like the emotional imbalance didn't work for me. I am excited by Phyllis and Matt as a possibility, mostly because it's new and I need something new. Russell asks, why is Phyllis so mean to Cane? She's the one who screwed him over. She took so much pleasure rubbing arabesque in his face. Yeah, Russell, and you know what it is? I think it is literally the equivalent of a girl who likes the boy, but the boy doesn't like the girl back, and so she's mean to him to try to, I don't know, compensate for that somehow. There's absolutely no reason why Phyllis should be coming after Cane. I mean, if anything, Cane should want to come after Phyllis. She chloroformed him. And yet somehow she feels like he's against her and she feels like she's got to go on the defensive with him. Whatever. It's personal. It's all because he chose Lily over her. That's the tea. Gary says, something I do like is that Cane is on to Roger Howarth, aka Matt. Cane is the show's new hero, anti-hero, and he has to be smart if he's thrust into the forefront. Being on top of something over getting duped makes for engaging viewing, although Cane will likely fall under the legendary Matt Clark's charm by next week when he's able to come up with some bogus something to win Cane's trust. It's been hard fought, but there it is. No, I think you're onto something, Gary. I think Cane is absolutely onto Matt. I don't think that Matt is fooling Cane at all. I think Cane is totally on to Matt, and I think he's just choosing to keep his enemy closer. Ooh, Jamie says, is it possible that the powers that be are resurrecting Martin Laurent? Is this new Dr. Creepazoid really Martin with plastic surgery? Is he perhaps a fanboy copycat of Martin? Ooh, could we be so lucky as to have both Laurent brothers resurrected? Color me intrigued. Ooh, okay, well that's interesting too, Jamie, because you're saying too, it might not even be Martin. It might be somebody who's just obsessed with either Alan or Martin. And, oh, is there any chance we get both brothers back? The only reason I like that is because I want a love interest for Tracy, and I feel like she was robbed of her happy future. Maybe this is YNR's way of course correcting, but again, it could all be a red herring. I think that's a good poll question for the week at yrchat.com. Do you think Laurence Markum is Martin Laurent? Let's get the hard facts on that one. Also, Jamie, what do you think about Phyllis and Matt? I need to get your opinion on that, please. Daisy says, Dr. Laurence Markum might just be Martin Laurent. Even the name suggests it. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's just someone who's obsessed with the real Dr. Alan Laurent and studied his books. He's really a patient who believes he's a doctor. And he plotted and planned with Patty to get out of the hospital so they can be their true, authentic selves and live their true, authentic lives. Those would be their delusions. Laurence being a doctor, Patty being with Jack, they believe they can resume their real lives by helping each other. Ooh, that's good. Maybe they're both maybe they're both inpatient or patients at Fairview or whatever. But the other thing is, do we even really know that Patty got released? She was in some kind of maximum security psychiatric ward, and then suddenly she got released. I mean, there's every possibility that Patty broke out, and every possibility that this guy did too. The other thing I wanted to mention was that I saw that the actor who plays Laurence Markum, his name is Jeer Burns, and I guess he was on a show with Susan Walters back in the day. I had it in my brain a second ago, and now I can't think of the show name. Ugh, sorry. But this is like, it was being promoted as a reunion between these two actors, Jeer Burns and Susan Walters, who plays Diane. So, I don't know. They also said very clearly that Laurence Markum was a new character. There's definitely not been any news that connects it to Martin, but that doesn't mean it can't still be true. I guess we just have to wait and find out. It's good, I think, in the meantime. Gary says, this Birdman of Alcatraz doctor seems far more menacing than Roger Howarth, Cameron Kirsten, and Aunt Jordan Howard put together. Commitment orders with no mental disorder shakes me to the very bones. Yeah, it's got like a One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest quality to it, doesn't it? Like being trapped there, but not really being meant to be there. The fact that it's the private home is what's really whatever. Like, yeah, sure, I'll just take her to my house. I happen to have bars on the windows and dogs at the door and a key card to my office. Connie says, I'm just saying, for me, Martin or the doctor would be suffering from stab wounds and unable to serve that tea. Also, if we're going to get a new living room set, can't it be for one of the regulars? Yeah, I know. I was rooting for her to stab him, and also, I love the little set. I have to admit, it has a very mid-century vibe. It looks old-timey. I mean, there's even an old-timey fan. Of course, I say old-timey, but mid-century is not exactly old-timey. But it's got like an old-style fan on the desk, and the furniture, it's mid-century, that square mid-century furniture. I like it. I like the set a lot. I actually love that style very much. You're right. I hope we get to keep it. Russell says, again, the hinges are on the inside. Pull those hinge nails and the door will fall right off. Nice house, though. Much better than the abandoned mental hospital or Sharon's sewer. That's the official renaming. Diane should count her blessings, even if they are few. Yes, you're right. Russell, I thought of you instantly when Diane did not go for the hinges. If there is one thing I have learned from my time of watching soap operas, it's from you. If I ever get kidnapped, go for the hinges. I know exactly what I'm going to do. Go for the hinges. Like the set, though. Michelle says that exterior door lock holding Diane is so flimsy. Why doesn't she knock it open with a butter knife? Or a paper clip? Yep, there you go. That's all you need, a paper clip to get out of there. Yeah, she's got to get the key card. What's in that office? That's my question. What's in that office? Tina Gold says, is it just me? But this story of Diane being trapped in some psychiatrist's home and Jack having Patty move in is not gripping me like I hope it would. Diane doesn't seem as panicked as I think she would be, trapped in a stranger's house. It seems too quick for Jack to just go along with Patty's blackmail and have her move in. I'm ready for Diane to be found at this point, and I honestly wished it wasn't a whole episode focused on this kidnapping. Yeah, Tina Cole, it was two whole episodes. Of course, maybe you left this on Monday. I can't remember. But yeah, I think, I don't know, it feels like a slow burn kind of thing. And again, I think they've crammed it into these episodes. Maybe if they had trickled it out and weaved it in amongst the other stories over the last month, maybe it would feel a little different. Oh, Steven says, every single cell phone on the planet features an emergency button directly on the lock screen that bypasses passcodes, facial recognition, and thumbprints entirely. Yeah. All cell phones have to have emergency 911 features, and Diane just blew past that. Although I think half the fun of soaps is like dealing and working around the unbelievabilities. Like, yes, we know she should go for the hinges. Yes, we know she should be able to use the phone, but you know, it's like technology kind of messes up the story in a lot of ways. Cell phones kind of mess the mere existence of cell phones really mess up the story these days. But why'd they bother to have her find it if she wasn't going to use it? That's my question. Victoria says, I had to giggle at how deliciously ludicrous Patty was acting today. She was embracing her La La Land romance with Jack. Stacey Heiduck has the ability to let the eyes tell the story and her voice to lure you to follow her anywhere. Jack thinks he can outsmart her, but I think she will outwit him. Seeing her, Patty, kicked back on Diane's Italian velvet couch, to me that was worth it. And Russell says, this Patty and Jack story is completely hilarious. I'm laughing all the way through those scenes. Patty kicking the family out the door? So funny. Is Jack gonna have more sex with her? That is the big question, because the last we saw her, I think she was like, I'll be in the spare bedroom if you need me, which you will. Okay, everybody, I think that feels to me like a Y&R chat. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are in the mood for a slow burn 90s style soap opera in a book, you should totally check out the Fauna and the Flora. The audiobook is really good because I narrate it all. It's a really fun, silly, but serious and slow story, kind of inspired by those Bill Bell early 90s kind of era of storytelling. I think you would love it if you give it a try. I actually just finally finished book 2 after spending since December writing it. Well, first draft is done. Now I'm going back through editing the second draft, and then it will be time to record the next song and the next audiobook. I wish I could just like get the book out there, because the audiobook takes an incredible amount of time and editing, but it is so worth it. Like, being able to tell the story in my own voice really means a lot to me, because then I feel like you're hearing it the way I'm hearing it in my head. Plus, I love doing the character voices. Nikki is my favorite. I also have to say Leanne Lovely is really fun, and she's got a really fun part in book 2. Plus, we're bringing back the Victor Newmouse versus Jackrabbit Abbott rivalry. That's going to be excellent. And I know a lot of you guys out there are wondering what's happened with Grace. I think Grace will quite surprise you in book 2. So catch up on book 1 if you have not, because book 2 is coming. It'll probably be closer to the new year, when everybody will probably have more time to read anyway. So that's my goal. Finish up the book itself. It'll be paperback, ebook, and audiobook, but I'll probably be spending the whole rest of the year putting together the audiobook. So it's coming, everybody. It's coming. And in the meantime, if you're looking for extra Y&R chat, check out those retro recaps. The Cane imposter story is so unbelievable. And it's like perfect soap opera because he came in on a lie and he stayed. He somehow endured. And not only that, but he became a leading man. So yeah, that's a really good one. I've got actually at this point a library of I think maybe 21 different retro recap videos. They're all in a playlist on my YouTube channel. So you could just search YouTube YR Chat, or you can go to yrchat.com and search in the flashback section for all of those. It's really been fun to go back into those old stories, and it gives me a much broader view of where the show is right now. It's helping me connect dots that get lost and forgotten, because I mean, after what's it been, it's like 52 years or something that the show's been on, and you know, you forget. And even the nearly 30 years, I guess, or no, gosh, I guess more than, I don't know, since 93 is when I started watching, and I can't remember all of the stories I've seen. I mean, I've sat here watching the show practically my whole life at this point, since I was 13, but I can't remember all the stuff that's happened. So going back and compiling it and reliving it, it's unlike anything else, any media that's ever been ever. I mean, it's the longest running serialized show. I'm certain of it. I think Price is Right maybe started technically before Y&R, but there's just so much there. And I just feel incredibly lucky that I get to experience not only these stories, but the characters. I mean, thinking about how these characters have evolved over the span of this show is just incredible. How can I look back at Victor and Nikki, and then I'm looking at them still on screen 40 years later? It just seems impossible. And then to be able to express my own stories through the Fauna and the Flora, it's just all coming together. I'm really enjoying this creative stage of life, and I hope that you take advantage of it and get in there and discover it and enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna get going, but you know, I'll be at the website throughout the week at yrchat.com, and I'll be back here next Sunday, and I hope to see you here too. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good week. Bye.